Scott, one of the questions we often get here in the sales department is outboard propulsion or Sterndrive. What are your thoughts on that?
First thing to do would be to come back with questions. How do they plan to use the boat? Obviously, we're standing behind a Regal, and this Regal happens to be Sterndrive and happens to have a full swim platform. So if they're going to the beach, if they're anchoring, they want in and out of the water, and they want the real estate that comes with a swim platform, then that's where the Sterndrive probably makes the most sense on a new or a pre-owned boat.
Great point.
Some of the things that, if they do go to Sterndrives, also known as inboard outboards, some of the first questions I would then ask, or they should be asking, is who's the last professional service dealer supplier that has pulled the Sterndrive off the back of the boat and away from the T-plate or the transom assembly.
Can you explain the T-plate and bellows and the serviceable items you have to do on a regular maintenance?
Sure. If you're looking at Sterndrive versus an outboard, there's a bunch of advantages to that, as we just talked about. But one of the things that the customer really needs to know, especially if they're on the hunt for a used or pre-owned boat, is what's the history of that mechanical servicing. Has a dealer been the one to maintain the Sterndrive and the rear end on the boat, or has it been just somebody that does it on their own out of a driveway? And the complexity really around a Sterndrive, you have an engine in the boat, which is usually an automotive-based engine, and you have the Sterndrive, which is the part that has the props attached to it. But where people really don't know or have a lot of knowledge is what we call the transom plate. And that's the intermediate housing that's on the back of the boat that the Sterndrive fits into. And that's really the story that you want to find out. What's happened, who's had their hands on that, what dealer has professionally maintained the inside of that. And that gets into your question, bellows, gimbal bearing, etc. So in there, if the drive is not pulled off, every couple of years for a certified mechanic to look in the hole, right. You've got a gimbal bearing that's going to fill with water. If it has a leak in there, you have bellows that could leak, and if the bellows leak and the bilge pump runs full time, you could actually get in a situation where the boat could sink. And you get U-joints that need maintenance and they need grease. And so often, when we're talking to customers and they want to trade a boat in, we'll ask them, when was the last time the drive was off? And if they have that blank look or don't have a clue what we're talking about, we know that this probably hasn't had the loving it needs and hasn't had the preventative maintenance spent on it.
Right. And our service departments can also pull serial numbers to see if it's original equipment, if there's been insurance claims in the past, or rebuilds. There's evidence of that as well.
Right. And as we talked about, if somebody is on this and every 2 to 3 years a dealer pulls the drive off, checks tolerances, checks the U-joints, gimbals, bellows, that's, they'll spend hundreds of dollars every couple of years. If it gets neglected and it's not looked at for years at a time, expenses get to be in the thousands, not the hundreds.
Right.
And that's a piece of education that I think a lot of pre-owned boat buyers out on the hunt don't know the story behind what they should be looking for on a transom plate.
Right.
So we're in the Huck showroom here. It's coming up on the weekend, and we'd love to see you guys come down, and maybe we can have a chat about new versus pre-owned, and we can talk about outboards versus Sterndrives and try and find the right boat just for you.